Hello again, and welcome to our third lecture of Exploring Shared Leadership in a Global World. As you know by now, I'm Dr. Robert White, and I will start by highlighting that this lecture will focus on strategic planning for educational systems and the importance of strategic planning to navigate the challenges and maximize opportunities going forward. So, trying to develop an understanding of the components of strategic planning, you have to understand that strategic planning is a systematic and dynamic process undertaken by leaders and organizations to define their long-term goals and objectives, determine the most effective ways to achieve them, and allocate resources accordingly. It involves analyzing the organization's internal and external environment, setting priorities, and developing strategies to guide decision-making and actions. Importance of strategic planning in educational systems, is crucial, um, uh, to say the least. So strategic planning is crucial in educational systems as it provides a framework for achieving educational objectives and aligning efforts towards a common vision. There are some reasons why strategic planning is important that I want to present here for educational systems. Basically, you need a direction and focus. You need to know where you're trying to get to. So strategic planning helps educational institutions define their purpose, their vision, and their mission. It provides a clear sense of direction and focus by identifying key priorities and establishing goals that guide decision making and resource allocation. And really, it comes down to, goal alignment. So through strategic planning, educational systems can align their goals and objectives with the needs and aspirations of various stakeholders, students, parents, teachers, and the community at large. This ensures that the educational institution is working towards outcomes that are relevant and meaningful to all parties involved. And then that'll allow you then to move on to resource allocation. So strategic planning enables educational systems to allocate resources effectively. By identifying priorities and assessing resource availability, institutions can make informed decisions about how to allocate funds, staff time, and other resources to support the achievement of their strategic goals. So you have to that following that systematic process, it is a dynamic process. In other words, it's a living process. So adaptability and changes has to be worked into the process. So educational systems operate in a dynamic environment, and strategic planning helps them anticipate and adapt to changes effectively. By analyzing external factors and emerging trends, institutions can proactively adjust their strategies and policies to address new challenges and opportunities in the educational landscape. So there are some key components of that systematic and dynamic engagement with strategic planning. And I want to talk about a couple of those key components, which typically include a vision. So you have to know what's your vision. You should be able to articulate that. So the vision statement defines the desired future state of the educational institution, outlining its overarching aspirations and long-term goals. It provides a sense of purpose and direction. It's inspiring stakeholders and guiding strategic decision making. Once you know what your vision is, you move into your mission. The mission statement encapsulates the fundamental purpose and identity of the educational institution. It outlines the core values. It has the target audience in mind and primary activities that the institution will undertake to fulfill the vision. Then you have to know what your values are. Values represent the guiding principles and beliefs that underpin the educational institution's actions and culture. They define the ethical and moral standards upheld by the institution and serve as a reference point for decision making. Then once you have those in line, you have to move into your goals and objectives. The goals and objectives are specific. measurable targets that the educational institution aims to achieve within a defined time frame. They are derived from the vision and mission statements, providing concrete milestones to gauge progress and success. Strategies, and then that allows you to implement strategies and the action plans. Strategies outline the broad approaches and initiatives that will be pursued to achieve the goals and objectives, and the action plan breaks down these strategies into specific activities, responsibilities, timelines, and resource requirements, enabling the effective implementation of the plan. So basically, the role of strategic planning in decision making and resource allocation is pivotal in guiding decision making and resource allocation in educational systems. First, by prioritizing initiatives. Strategic planning helps educational institutions identify and prioritize initiatives that align with their long-term goals. It provides a structured approach to evaluating options and selecting those that have the greatest potential to contribute to the institution's strategic objectives. Then you can really optimize resource allocation. So by considering the available resources, strategic planning enables educational institutions to allocate them optimally. It ensures that resources, including financial, human, and infrastructure, are allocated to support the most critical initiatives and areas of need, maximizing their impact. Then this allows you to get into performance evaluation. Strategic planning provides a basis for evaluating performance against established goals and objectives. By monitoring progress and comparing outcomes with targets, educational institutions can identify areas of success and areas that require adjustment or improvement, facilitating data-driven decision making. And then that should be allow you to have complete alignment of the decision-making process. So strategic planning helps align decision-making processes at all levels within the educational institution. When decisions are made in accordance with a strategic plan, there is consistency and coherence in the actions taken by the institution. The strategic plan serves as a reference point and guiding framework for decision making, ensuring that choices and initiatives are aligned with the long-term goals and vision of the educational system. So by aligning decision making with the strategic plan, educational institutions can avoid fragmented or conflicting actions that might undermine progress or dilute resources. So instead, decisions are evaluated against the strategic objectives, ensuring that they contribute to the overall direction and priorities set by the institution. So, moreover, alignment in decision making fosters a sense of unity and shared purpose among stakeholders within the educational system. So when decisions are made in accordance with the strategic plan that's been established and agreed, it becomes easier to communicate the rationale behind those decisions and gain support from all stakeholders, you know, students, teachers, policymakers, the community, who understand how their specific roles and contributions fit into the broader strategic objectives. Um, so consistency in decision making is not only paramount, but it also facilitates efficient resource allocation. So by aligning decisions with the strategic plan, educational leaders and institutions can prioritize resources allocation based on the identified goals and initiatives that have been named, defined, and agreed. So this helps avoid ad hoc resource allocation and ensures that resources are directed towards the most critical areas that will have the greatest impact on, achieving the strategic objectives. So basically, I know that's a lot, but to summarize that, it's basically strategic planning plays a vital role in aligning decision making at all levels of an educational institution. It provides consistency, coherence, and a shared sense of purpose among all stakeholders across the system. So by ensuring decisions are in line with the strategic plan, educational systems can maximize their effectiveness, optimize resource allocation, and create a unified approach towards achieving their long-term goals. In basically digging a little bit deeper into having and developing a strategic plan, you do have to look at systematically, effectively analyzing the external and internal factors influencing educational systems. So there really has to start with a comprehensive analysis of the external environment. Conducting a comprehensive analysis of the external environment is essential for educational systems because there are many factors associated with being able to achieve your strategic goals to fulfill your vision by meeting your mission. So first you have to consider social factors. Analyzing social factors helps educational institutions understand the demographic characteristics, cultural influences, societal values, and trends that shape the needs and expectations of students and their families. This knowledge that you gain through that enables institutions to tailor their programs, teaching methods, and support services to meet the evolving needs of their diverse student population. Then you have to understand that there are economic factors. So an economic analysis provides insights into the financial conditions, funding mechanisms, economic disparities, and employment trends within the educational system's operating environment. So whatever your context is, it's going to be unique to that context. So understanding economic factors helps leaders make informed decisions about resource allocation, financial planning, and the development of sustainable funding models. And then you have to take in the next step, your technical factors. So analyzing technical factors helps leaders and educational systems identify emerging technologies, digital tools, and online learning platforms that can enhance teaching and learning experiences. It also enables institutions to adapt their infrastructure, information systems, and curriculum to leverage technology effectively and stay ahead of digital advancements, or at least stay abreast of digital advancements. And then that exploration of internal factors follows that exploration of external factors. So exploring internal factors is crucial for educational leaders and systems as it allows them to assess their organizational culture, resources, excuse me, and capabilities. So you have to include looking at the organizational culture that you step into as the leader. The culture of an educational institution influences its values, norms, attitudes, and behaviors. By understanding your own organizational culture, leaders can align that with their strategic goals and desired outcomes. You must be culturally responsive, culturally competent, especially to establish trust and transparency. So a positive and inclusive culture can foster a supportive learning environment. It enhances staff motivation and retention, and really influences student achievement. Then once you've done that, you move into resource analysis. So analyzing internal resources such as financial resources, the facilities at your disposal, the technology, the staff expertise, helps leaders and educational systems identify their strengths and limitations. It enables you to optimize resource allocation, identify areas for improvement or investment, and leverage your existing resources to deliver quality education and support services. Then once we understand all of that, we look at what are our capabilities. So assessing internal capabilities involves evaluating the educational systems and all aspects of competencies, strengths, and weaknesses. So this analysis helps institutions identify areas where they excel and areas that require improvement. By leveraging all these capabilities and addressing gaps, leaders can enhance the institutional performance, implement effective strategies, and adapt to changing educational demands. Then you have to look at who are our stakeholders. So what are the significance of stakeholder analysis? Basically is crucial in educational systems because it helps us do a couple different things. First, we have to identify our stakeholders. So a stakeholder analysis helps leaders and educational institutions identify and understand the diverse groups and individuals who have a vested interest in or are affected by all the institution's activities, by the leaders' activities, and by the institution's activities. This includes students, parents, teachers, administrators, government bodies, local communities, and employers in our communities. So understanding the needs and expectation of through the stakeholder analysis allows educational leaders to gain insight into the needs, expectations, and concerns of various stakeholders. By engaging with stakeholders and seeking their input, leaders can tailor educational programs, institutions can tailor policies and services to better meet their requirements and enhance stakeholder satisfaction. So through this process, we can eventually build partnerships and collaboration. So understanding stakeholders' perspectives and interests facilitates the development of meaningful partnerships and collaborations, which is crucial in a successful educational institution, in a successful educational society or system, and the entire community at large. So basically, educational institutions, once these partnerships and collaborations are established through strong communication, trust, and respect, educational institutions and leaders can leverage those relationships to create opportunities for internships, community engagement, fundraising, and other mutual beneficial initiatives that enrich the educational experience. Then we can get into really effective decision making and strong communication, transparent, open, honest communication. So through this stakeholder analysis, leaders can make informed decisions by considering the viewpoints and interests of various stakeholders. You do have to be a strong communicator, and you have to engage in strong communicative action to really build a consensus, to understand what are the shared values, what's the vision and the mission of the community, not just my vision and mission as the school leader, but where's the community, and as a transformational leader, where are we trying to go, basically. So it enables institutions and leaders to communicate transparently, address concerns effectively, and involve stakeholders in decision-making process, fostering trust, support, and shared ownership of educational outcomes. So overall, conducting a comprehensive analysis of the external environment, exploring internal factors, and engaging in stakeholder analysis, leaders empower their educational institution and systems to adapt, improve, and align their strategies and actions to better serve their students, staff, and communities. So how do we do all that? So first, it's about setting goals and objectives for your strategic plan. So the process of setting goals and objectives in a strategic plan have a few different key aspects. So analyze the current state. First, we need to know where are we? So begin by conducting a thorough analysis of the organization's internal and external environments, like we just spoke about, which includes assessing the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So identify areas for improvement, emerging trends, and challenges that need to be addressed. Then, once again, you define the mission and the vision, clarify the organization's mission statement. So you build a consensus around that with all stakeholders. And then that should outline the fundamental purpose and reason for the existence of the vision and mission statement. So develop a compelling vision statement that articulates the desired future state and overarching goals the organization aims to achieve. Identify your strategic goals, develop a consensus, and then based on that vision and mission, determine those goals that will guide the organizational's actions. These goals should be broad and reflect the key areas of focus necessary to achieve those desired outcomes. So then you break those goals into objectives. So break down each strategic goal into specific objectives. So objectives are concrete, measurable, and time-bound targets that contribute to the attainment of those strategic goals. So each objective should be aligned with the organization's mission, vision, and values. So an effective approach to that is the SMART framework, S-M-A-R-T, SMART framework. So this ensures that the objectives are, one, specific, they are measurable, they are achievable, they're relevant, and they are time bound. So SMART. This framework helps make the objectives more actionable and facilitates effective planning, implementation, and evaluation. We must evaluate all things that we implement. And I would caution you to consider, if you're going to implement something, you should focus on what needs to be de-implemented. So if you have one strategic goal in place at one time and then that changes to a new strategic goal, you must de-implement all the actions that were associated with the previous goal, then implement what's targeted for the new goal. So in that process, that's what helps you develop that action plan. So action plans are, you create action plans for each objective. You outline the strategies, the activities, the timelines, who's responsible, the responsible parties associated with that action, and then the resources required to achieve those actions. So action plans provide a roadmap basically for the implementation and help track progress towards achieving the objectives. So it's really, comes down to the importance of aligning goals with the organization mission. And I want to just go over that a little bit one more time, and that's direction and focus. Do you know what your direction and focus is? So aligning the goals with the organization's mission and vision ensures that efforts are focused on achieving the core purpose and desired future state. It provides a clear direction and avoids mission drift or conflicting objectives. So it should be consistent. You need consistency and coherency. So when goals are aligned with the mission and vision, so you clearly articulated your missions and within your vision, there's consistency in decision making, resource allocation, and actions throughout the organization. So it stays transparent, it stays consistent, it stays coherent. And this creates a unified and coherent approach toward achieving the desired outcomes. Then you really need to achieve motivation and engagement. So goals that align with the mission and vision are more meaningful and inspiring to the stakeholders, teachers, students, community, parents, the whole gamut of stakeholders. So this creates a sense of purpose and motivates individuals to contribute their best efforts towards the organization's success. Then you really need to measure and evaluate. So aligning uh, the alignment enables better measurement and evaluation of your progress. So by linking goals to the mission and vision, you can track performance, assess the impact of these actions, and make informed adjustments as needed. So once again, this is a dynamic process. So you make your plans. They at times need to be adjusted based on the data coming in. So some examples of a SMART objectives, we should be able to eventually be able to name our SMART objectives in the context of our educational system. So for example, you might want to look at increasing student retention by say 10% within the next academic year. So you'll consider implementing targeted support programs and interventions for at-risk students. So you need to know who's at risk, and you need to look at targeted meaningful, relevant interventions for those students to help them engage more effectively. Or maybe you want to improve student proficiency in mathematics, say by 15% over the next 2 years through the implementation of a comprehensive math curriculum aligned with national standards. So you have to know what you're aiming for, what data you're going to need to collect to know the progress towards that and when it's achieved. And then of course, once you achieve it, then you set the next goal. So, or perhaps another example is enhancing parental engagement by organizing monthly workshops for parents on effective strategies to support their child's learning, perhaps with a target of achieving 80% participation rate by the end of the school year. Or maybe you want to reduce the achievement gap between students from different socioeconomic backgrounds by 20% within 3 years through the implementation of equitable resource allocation, differentiated instruction, universal design for learning, or targeted support for disadvantaged students. Or maybe you want to increase the percentage of high school graduates pursuing higher education or vocational training to 90% within 5 years by implementing college and career readiness programs, providing college counseling, and facilitating scholarship opportunities. So whatever your goals are, whatever aligns with your mission and vision is best understood in how you're achieving that, I would argue, by implementing that SMART framework. So these, the examples I've given of SMART objectives need to be, are specific, measurable, they are achievable, they're relevant and they're time bound. So they provide that clear target, indicate how progress will be measured, are realistic within a given context, and have a specific time frame for accomplishment. So consider kind of in your own setting where, what would be some of the smart targets that should be achieved. And then once we kind of understand all of that, we can get into formulating strategies to address challenges and leverage opportunities. So the importance of strategic thinking in all of this is the ability to formulate strategies. So strategic thinking is crucial in formulating strategies in the educational systems and as an educational leader, because firstly, they need to be, you need to help ensure you have a future-oriented mindset and help other people achieve a future-oriented mindset and really embrace those continual cycles of improvement. So strategic thinking enables educational leaders and stakeholders to adopt forward-looking perspective. It involves envisioning the future, anticipating changes, and understanding the potential impact on the educational landscape. So this proactive approach helps identify emerging trends, challenges, opportunities that inform the development of effective strategies. That also allows for a holistic perspective to take place. So strategic thinking involves considering the broader context and the interconnectedness of various factors in the educational system. So it encourages a systems thinking approach, recognizing the interdependencies between curriculum, teaching practices, pedagogies, resource allocation, stakeholder engagement, and broader elements. So this holistic perspective allows for the formulation of comprehensive strategies that address multiple dimensions of education. It also develops a long-term perspective. So strategic thinking involves considering long-term goals and outcomes. It goes beyond short-term fixes or reactive measures and focuses on sustainable solutions that contribute to the overarching vision and mission of your educational system. So by taking a long-term perspective, strategies can be developed to foster continuous improvement and adaptability in response to changing needs and challenges. So, I went, the thing to consider is approaches to address challenges and leverage opportunities in our educational system. So to address challenges and leverage opportunities, there's a couple following approaches I want to go over quickly. So consider collaboration and partnerships. Your role in fostering collaboration between um, teachers, parents, students, between different educational systems, community organizations, businesses, and the government entities that you work side by side with. Consider data-informed decision making. Utilize data and evidence to inform decision making processes and regularly, assess those. Consider the implementation of continuous professional development. The role of providing ongoing professional development opportunities for educators, and that investment in teacher skills and knowledge will enhance um, practice, promote student-centered learning, and really equips teachers with the tools to address those emerging challenges. Technology integration, such as AI, diverse student needs, and really evolving pedagogical practices. And then think about the importance of innovation adaptability, that we have to adapt to changing processes, looking at strategies for curriculum development, teacher professional development, uh, on and so forth. So the need the need for strategic uh, um, thinking in developing an effective strategy is paramount. So by integrating monitoring evaluation into the strategic planning process, really leaders can ensure that strategies are effectively implemented, outcomes are achieved, and continuous improvement is fostered to meet the evolving needs of students and stakeholders. So basically, to wrap up, we covered kind of the following key points I want you to keep in mind. So strategic planning is a process, setting goals, objective, analyzing external, internal, um, uh, the environment, aligning decision-making resources. And it's important for educational systems as it provides a roadmap for success, guides decision-making, ensures that actions are aligned with the desired outcomes. And it really involves analyzing the external environment. So consider the social, economic, technological factors. Um, then it gets into exploring the internal factors, organizational culture, resources, capabilities, and really conducting stakeholder analysis to understand the needs and expectations of the broader community. So we've covered the importance of strategic thinking and the crucial role that it plays, and how it helps educational systems anticipate challenges and leverages opportunities to develop comprehensive and coherent and sustainable strategies. You have to consider how you're going, approaches to addressing challenges, the importance of collaboration and partnership, the importance of data-informed decision making, which really ensures strategies are based on evidence and resources are allocated effectively. You have to consider the role of continued professional development to continue to upskill and enhance and motivate teachers. And then you have to stay innovative and adaptable. So, innovation and adaptability promotes the integration of new technologies, teaching methods, and approaches to curriculum and development. And don't overlook the importance of community engagement in fostering strong relationships with parents, community organizations, and businesses to really enrich the educational experience for everybody, for school leaders, for teachers, for students, for parents, everybody. And then developing relevant and engaging processes and providing comprehensive professional development for teachers that really enhance um, strong uh, um, and effective learning engagement, strong and effective partnerships with families, communities, organizations, government officials, and uh, and this is really, by helps understanding the importance of applying strategic thinking in this process, and really by applying strategic thinking across the board, teachers, students can develop their own goals and objectives, explore approaches to address challenges, and leverage opportunities. That's when we really start to engage in shared leadership through those partnerships, through that engagement, and really our role of empowering and encouraging uh, this cycle of continuous learning. So if you're the lead learner and teachers become the lead learner and students become the lead learners, we can really embrace innovation and technology and build collaborative relationships with peers, other school leaders we work with, teachers, and really the wider community. So basically, just to conclude, I want to emphasize the important importance of strategic planning that provides approaches to address challenges and leverage opportunities, and really for you to engage further with strategies for various aspects of educational systems that encourages students to actively participate and apply the concepts and strategies in their own educational experience. So we want eventually everyone to become lead learners. We want everybody to be empowered to engage and lead their own development. So hopefully you'll continue to engage with the reading that's recommended. You'll engage with the discussion forum for this week of study, and you'll engage in your own personal self-study as you become that lead learner, and with the goal of helping others become lead learners. So thank you once again for joining me, and I look forward to your discussion posts.